What's up, guys? This is James Brew of the Brew Show off camera, and you are looking at the man himself, the guy who gave us wonderful predictions during Euro 2024, Daniel, Daniel. Which one first? Daniel, Darren, Glo. How are you doing?
Well, blessed. How about you?
Can't complain. Can't complain. God has been good.
Well, the season is starting, so we are all excited.
Exactly.
Real Madrid set the stone. Now we are on for a ride.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what happens.
And I think we're about to go on one of the best rides available, the English Premier League, right?
Yeah. Friday night is a cracker, man.
Mm-hmm.
Start with your team, Man United.
Theatre of dreams.
They take on an energized Fulham. Fulham can be troublesome though.
Yes.
You know how Fulham is when they are in their game. They cause upsets. So I think it's a match to look out for. Man United have had a good preseason, I guess, but they will be tested by Fulham. So let's see how it goes. But I have a personal interest there with their signing our star boy Smith Rowe. I would be happy Fulham won, but this is a match you see Man United, an energized Man United will win. I feel Man United will win this match.
Man United will win, eh?
Yeah.
You want to give a score prediction?
No, let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
But if I should predict, I will be bold to say maybe a 2-0 Man United win. That's what I feel will happen. Yeah.
The overly optimistic part of me wants to say 3-0, but you there. I'll just be happy with any win. Any Man United winning, I'm good.
Oh no, Man United should expect a good season because they are building it. They are building up. The first season, the second season, by the third season, the players would have gelled to how the coach plays. But the only challenge here is signing a lot of players is kind of distracting to a team. But Man United is building up. We are hoping they play well. Yeah.
So, guys, both Daniel and I are going for a Manchester United win. You can agree or disagree with us, but let us know your choice in the comment section. Whilst you're in the comment section, let us also know the match you're looking forward to the most. We know the match everybody wants to talk about for the opening round, right? The defending champions, City.
This is Chelsea.
The big
but before we
Chelsea.
Come to that, let's look at Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday. Mm-hmm. There are some tasty matches here. So let me go to Liverpool Ipswich. So Ipswich against Liverpool.
Ipswich at home?
Yeah, Ipswich at home. They are beginning their campaign at home. I believe this is likely to be a Liverpool win. It's one of the matches you feel Liverpool will win to go top of the table. Because Ipswich are now coming to the league. They might have that unpreparedness within them. And I don't know, they've signed quite a few good players. They are getting Calvin Phillips. They've signed Omari Hutchinson, who I would want to see how he performs.
In the Premier League.
But then I believe this match will be a straight Liverpool win.
So you don't think the emotion of the occasion would motivate Ipswich?
Not at all. Ipswich doesn't motivate me that they will do something spectacular. When you look at the pundits, most of the prediction that has come through from some big pundits, they've predicted Ipswich to be relegated. So, but I feel Ipswich will do well. But then, for this match, I don't think they will win it. But anything can happen. It's football. So let's see after 19 in Bible. If I'm to predict, I'll predict a 4-0 Liverpool win.
Okay. I don't know whether it's biased, but I'm keen on seeing what Ian McKenna is going to do as a Premier League manager, especially since he's taking them on successive promotions from League One all the way through to the Premiership. Maybe it's a step too far, but then again, I want to see if he can hold his own at England's top flight. So I think there will definitely be goals. So I think I want to go for a 2-2 draw.
I'm coming from the angle of seeing Liverpool's preseason. Mm-hmm. The players play like they know onslaught for quite a few years, but then it's just their first year with him.
Yeah.
So I believe from what I've seen from the preseason, how they played against us, even though we wasted chances, but how they played against all the subsequent teams they played, I believe Liverpool will trash Ipswich.
That's right. So which match should we tackle next?
So let's talk about Arsenal Wolves. That's also another tasty encounter. But for I'll be an Arsenal bias here. But Wolves are not an easy team to beat. Wolves are not an easy team to beat at all. But this is a match at the Emirates. You know, at the Emirates, beginning of the season, Arsenal and energized Arsenal. Well, you can't tell, but then I know you definitely know that Arsenal are going to be there. They are going to put in all the work just to win this game. Wolves, in a way, have lost one of their key players, Pedro Neto, to Chelsea. But then it doesn't look like their team will much be affected. But then this will be a good game to watch. But I'm going for an Arsenal win. I believe this will be more of a 3-1 win. With this current Arsenal backline of tall, strong players, I feel Arsenal might keep a clean sheet, but I still there's something still telling me Wolves might make in one goal. But whatever happens, Arsenal are going to score more than 2 goals. That's what I believe, or that's what I think will happen.
So I am leaning towards an Arsenal win as well. Maybe not as comfortable as a lot of people might go for, but an Arsenal win to start the season right.
Yes. Okay, so the next game we'll be looking at Newcastle Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle Southampton is quite well. Southampton are coming back from the championship, and Newcastle have had some momentum. And well, today I heard the good news from Newcastle that they will have Sandro Tonali back. That's a bit of good news for them, but he'll be back on 28th August, so definitely not available for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But this game quite breeds a Newcastle win. That's what it looks like. But anything can happen. Southampton showed us before they left that they can beat quite any team, but they just the consistency that matters, especially when with them losing. But this game, I'm going for a draw here. I think this will be a draw, maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2. But I may be wrong. Let's see. What do you think?
I'm inching slightly towards a Newcastle win, but at the same time, Southampton coming back to a league they know very well. I think a draw is still the more likely outcome.
Yeah. And then there's another game here. Everton Brighton.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice one. That's a really good one.
Two teams of equal yoke.
Yeah.
Two teams of equal standings.
Brighton with a new coach.
Brighton a bit or slightly ahead of Everton. But this game is going to be played at Everton's home, Goodison Park. So you know what happens there.
Yes.
So Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. Ghanaian time, Sean Dyche as the coach in Merseyside. Nothing. It breathed an Everton win because Charlie, Everton at home, but they have this unwanted record where they've lost a lot of matches especially in the opening rounds of the season.
Exactly.
So, but this looks like an Everton win. This looks like an Everton win or draw. So if you're an investor, you might want to look at an Everton win or draw. But I may be wrong. Brighton are also there for the taking. They've made some brilliant signings. So let's see. An Everton win is what I predict.
Nice one. I think I'm going with you on this one. I know the stats and everything on opening games tend to go against Everton, but knowing that they might have yet another points deduction, they will want to amass as many points as possible before the deduction comes into effect, if it does. Yes. So I think Everton are there to invest in. or go behind.
And also, there is this game, Forest versus Bournemouth. That's also another 2 p.m. game in London.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth are quite a good side. They had their record points last season, and they will be looking to build on that. So, from the get-go, you think Bournemouth will bring up their A game just because they want to win this game, because it's one of the games they will feel like if there is any team to beat in this season, the Forest are one of them. So they would go all out to win it. So I think
But no
Bournemouth
Solanke.
win. No Solanke, but they have a pretty good team. So I think Bournemouth should be the team that's high on the ranking here to win. So I'll go for a Bournemouth win.
Okay, so let me try and play devil's advocate for this one. Nottingham Forest have escaped relegation by the skin of their teeth in 2 successive seasons. And most of the time it's because they have a poor stance. This time around, starting against somebody who, on paper, is supposed to be your level. Again, no points deduction for Forest yet. So you might want to get everything off your back as early as possible because you never know what the future holds. Awuni and Co had a fairly okay preseason. I mean, they didn't pull any trees, but then again, what matters is the fitness and the rhythm, right? So let me try and go closer for the guys from Nottingham this time around. Let me say Forest were just to shake the apple cart.
Bro, that's your own. That's for you, but I believe Bournemouth will win this game. There's another tasty matchup here. 2 teams of equal measure. West Ham versus Aston Villa. I would say they are equal though, because Aston Villa are in the Champions League and then West Ham are
flattered to
nowhere to
receive
be
a
found.
little bit last season,
But they've made some brilliant signings, West Ham.
8 beautiful signings.
Yes, I think today West Ham, for a certain period, I believe they've done well. They've built quite a good team. Everyone looks at the team on paper and feels, whoa, this West Ham team are going to worry. They are going to have a pretty good season. But they seem to forget this. West Ham have a new coach.
Again.
And they've signed about 8 players who are all potential first team players or first 11. You don't expect these 8 players to play like they know each other from way back.
It's going to take at least 4 matches.
It's going to take quite a lot of matches for them to gel. So I believe this West Ham team, they've signed players. You think, oh, well, these players should be high potential players, but they've not achieved their potentials yet. And West Ham have gone to assemble all of these players. And you look at Folklore, you look at who else they signed?
Guido Rodriguez.
Yes, Rodriguez. They signed this player I've been looking up to see.
They signed Crescencio Somerville from Leeds. They signed Wan-Bissaka. They signed
Todibo.
Wan-Bissaka,
yes. I would really like to see how he performs in another team. You know, apart after that 50 million move to Man United it has been a fair, you can say, up a bit topsy-turvy, but he's done quite well. We want to see him better, right? So him at West Ham, we are expecting something different. We are expecting to see a more free Wan-Bissaka. So you expect them to do well. You expect them to play better. But if I were a West Ham fan, I wouldn't keep my hopes high for them this season. I wouldn't want to look at a top 4 finish. I wouldn't want to look at maybe a top 6 finish, but maybe an Europa League place or a Conference League place. That's where they should be targeting.
And for them, they love the Conference League because
they are one of the earlier winners of this competition. So it's a trophy they would want to win it again.
And the Villa side of the game, what do you think?
Side, well, that's what I was building up to. Villa are going to also want to continue from where they left off from last season. They didn't end on a good note. They lost, I think, 4-1 or so. Where our neighbours in Tottenham, if they had taken their chance, would have been those in the Champions League places. But
So humane.
well, those it gives me nightmares when we not talk about it. But I believe Villa also have a good team. But another thing about Villa is they've lost one of their key players,
Douglas
Luiz, and that's a big issue. And also, not only Douglas Luiz, they've lost Diaby.
Yep.
Musa Diaby.
It went under the radar.
I was just thinking, why would they sell this player to Saudi Arabia if not for the money aspect, if not for the FFP issues?
In this case, PSR.
Well, that it's sad, bro. It's sad, though. But well, Aston Villa still have the main team there. You talk of Oli Watkins, you talk of
Ramsey,
Jacob Ramsey, their keepers, and they have a good defense. So this game. This will be a very good game to watch. But I look at this game, I look at West Ham not having the teamwork or cohesion yet. I believe this is a game Aston Villa should win. So I will go for an Aston Villa win.
Since we are still on the subject of West Ham, Kudus to score?
Kudus to score? Wow, that's tough. I'll look at an assist rather than scoring.
Okay.
So, but
I have him in my FPL team, so I'm also hoping for a goal contribution.
The FPL players, well, Kudus to score. Maybe one of those things, but let's see.
That's right.
And then there's this game here. I'm also looking forward to Brentford versus Crystal Palace. I mean, people wouldn't want to watch it. People will look down on it, but this is a game to watch because two teams
from London,
two exciting teams to come head to head. Crystal Palace
are playing
they are in the process of losing one of their best defenders. They've lost one of their best wingers too, if not their best winger. But don't forget they have Jordan Ayew. The Ghanaian interest is there.
Mm-hmm.
But well, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Brentford will have for the first time this year or one of the earlier times in the season. Last season they didn't start with what's their main striker, Ivan Toney, but this time they are going to have him fit and available. So it will be a good game to watch. With all the rumors persisting of him leaving, you want to see him come out and show potential buyers what he can do before the deadline day. So I'm sure this is a game Brentford have the upper hand here because it's at their home grounds. But I also believe Crystal Palace will not also come in cheap. But this looks like a draw. Anyone predicting will look at it from the context of a draw. But for me, I believe a Brentford win is possible. And that's what I will lean towards because I believe Brentford have the capacity to cause damage. So a Brentford win is what I go for.
I'm looking for a lot of goals in this game because you mentioned Tony for the Brentford side and yes, that's all well and good. But we're also looking at a very, very eager Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Yeah.
Especially following his exploits from the Olympic Games. Look at how he ended last season. Is he going to be available
though? Because Olympics.
Would they want to rush him? Well, probably not from the start, but Charlie, he's in good form. So, would you want to keep an informed player out of your squad, even if to motivate?
He's in good form, but you also have to look at not overloading the player.
Yeah.
If you're a coach, I don't know if he went for his holidays. I think they have an earlier holiday. Some of them had earlier holidays.
But he went straight to training.
Olympic Games. So even with that, they were training. So I don't know what the coach has planned, but it's likely he might not start. It's likely you see Edward and Jordan starting. So it's going to be a good game, as I said earlier. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And then there's let's talk about this Monday game before we come to
So the Sunday, the time
the
everybody
big
wants
one.
to hear.
What everyone wants to talk about. So Leicester Tottenham
Former league champions Leicester
versus
No-
league bottlers in that
Tottenham.
same season.
Perennial league bottlers.
So this game, if you had pitched it to me 2 years ago, I would have said these two teams are of a bit of equal measure, because Leicester were 2 years or 3 years ago were a high performing team, but now they've gone through relegation. They've come back. They've lost their manager. They've lost quite a few players. Drewsbury Hall,
Madison.
Well, they've lost some players, and you feel they are not coming back the same Leicester we knew. And Tottenham too has built a good momentum over the preseason. They played very well against Bayern Munich during the preseason, and they ended the season quite on a good note. Apart from the fact that they are the reasons Arsenal did not win the league.
Intentionally, I'm sure.
Intentionally losing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was intentional, but anyway, anything can happen. So, but then this game, I believe it's a Monday night game, and Monday night game usually under the lights, the big teams usually tend to perform better than the smaller ones. So I think this is going to be a Leicester win, because Leicester is a big team here, sarcastically.
And it was pretty
But
much going to be Tottenham like to start the season with a loss to a newly promoted team. So
well, you're on a, I would say you are preaching the gospel. I'm a Tottenham hater though, but I believe Tottenham are in a good stand, in a good form. They are in a good strength. They are going to cause a lot of problems, but I also think that Leicester are going to be solid. They are going to be grounded, because they know this league very well. They know Tottenham very well, and they've been a boogie team against Tottenham most of the time. So I will go for a Leicester win in this game. I might be wrong, but I feel it's a Leicester win.
So Tottenham fans, don't lose hope. I'm here for you. You've bought well. You added Solanke. I mean, the price tag I wouldn't have gone for, but at least
Well,
the
they
player
paid
has a good
the
foundation.
release clause. So
Yeah.
what you should expect.
So at least you don't have to start with Richarlison if you don't want to. So I think he will be eager to impress, especially since it looks like he's going for a very good squad number as well. So he wants to prove that he probably should have been in the England squad for the Euros. He's looking at being in the England squad, assuming they get there for the World Cup, because it's right for the taking. After Hurricane, there are a lot of positions to be filled. So let's see. Solanke to impress, Son Heung-min to do his thing. I'm going for a score draw.
Well, that's a good score draw. That's a good prediction. I still stand. My prediction still stand. Leicester to win. And then there is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea versus Manchester City.
Bald head versus bald head.
Yes.
Enzo Maresca.
Apprentice versus master.
Mm-hmm. Pep Guardiola.
Well, and this, I'm looking at it from the manager's angle. Okay, this is an apprentice versus a master game. Anytime an apprentice meets the master for the first time, they always tend to lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first point I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking at form. Man City, the only time they lost this season was against AC Milan during the preseason.
And Celtic.
And Celtic, yes. I think Chelsea also lost to Celtic, right?
Yes, 4-1.
They lost. Wow. Oh, good old Chelsea. Well, but this is a game that's going to, I don't think it's going to be that exciting, because it's going to look one-sided. This is going to look more of a City attack. Chelsea have bought, they've made a lot of signing, but the teamwork is still going to be a challenge.
As at the time of this video, it's 10 signings, right?
Well, I like how you use as to the time of this video because you don't know tomorrow they might sign you two
Like
new
4
players
more.
and then, well, that's Chelsea for you. But Chelsea, they don't seem to have a clear direction of where they are going towards. They just sign players because they want to. They have the fame. I don't know if the managers. This a discussion for another day. But I believe there is a business aspect to why they are doing that. But when you look at
The football
the
aspect.
football aspects, it doesn't look like they have a clear plan as to what they want to do. They just sack managers at random, buy players at random, and then sell them at random. So it doesn't look good for a Chelsea team. If I were a Chelsea fan, I would actually be worried because I would be looking at this and like, what is happening to my team? When they had Abramovich as their owner, when they had Mourinho, when they've had
Conte.
quite some good managers, there was a clear direction to who they were signing. But now they just sign at random. Well, that's from the board decision. I don't know who takes the decision. But from the footballing perspective, I don't think Chelsea are going to win this game. I don't think they are going to win this game at all. This is a game that breeds a one-sided City win. But Chelsea might prove me wrong. But if I'm to predict, if I'm to look at this game, I'm looking at a City straight win.
And
A
the
City
Haaland
straight
goal.
win. The Haaland goal is always inevitable, but let's see. Chelsea are there for the taking. So I just hope the City doesn't demolish them. That's just what I'm hoping. That doesn't happen because it will cause them to sign another 10 players and
As it is 45 first team players.
Look at that. Who is going to play? Who is going to start? Who is going to start? Who is going to be on the bench? So it doesn't look good for Chelsea, but we are all ready to see what happens to Chelsea on Sunday. So what do you predict, James?
I predict a very nice Chelsea defeat. I predict at least 2 goals for City. 2 is low. Either you at least 2. Let me play safe. At least 2 goals for City. Maybe not necessarily from Haaland, but Maresca to start with a defeat. I'm just hoping for his sake and for the club's sake. It is a defeat that you can still have your head held high. Because if it's a trouncing, then Charlie, he's probably going to be the first manager to be sacked this season.
But historically, City has. I think last season City did not beat Chelsea. Last 2 seasons they didn't beat Chelsea, and then City has this thing they do. They tend to struggle beginning of the season. That's a cause for worry.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've seen of Chelsea over the preseason, from what I've seen of City over the preseason, I think Chelsea will lose this game. Chelsea will lose this game.
Before I let you go, I'm going to ask 2 questions. One, is there a blessing or a curse for Maresca that he knows Pep, or rather Pep knows him? And 2, is there an advantage to Chelsea that they've already played City in the last few weeks? Yes, they got beaten badly, but at least they've played them. They kind of know what to expect.
So Maresca, I think, knows Pep more than Pep knows because I'm not sure Pep would have watched a lot of his games. Maybe he would have watched Leicester, but Maresca has been working with Pep through the highs and the lows. He's seen a Pep team at its peak, and then he's seen Pep's team at its lows. But Maresca has worked with him. He's been at his side, so he will know what goes on in the back room of Pep. But Pep wouldn't know what goes on in the back room of Maresca because he's not been his assistant. And Maresca has been a coach, a first team coach, the first coach, or been a first team coach just for 1 season. So he may have a lot of surprises. So it's it's more of Maresca knowing Pep than Pep knowing Maresca. And then the second question you asked about it being a blessing that they play earlier. I think it's a blessing. When you look at Arsenal 3 seasons ago, I think we lost our first 3 games and then we were at the bottom of the league and then everyone was like, we are in crisis.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at that 3 games we played, I think we played Chelsea,
You played.
we played City.
You played Brentford. You played Liverpool. You played City.
Yes, look at these 3 teams. All right, so it's more of a blessing when you play these teams. You know they are going to beat you earlier, and then
You can relax.
you can relax. And then when you meet the teams that are going to give you a momentum, you gain that momentum. But if you are meeting this team intermittently and then you gain the momentum and then you go and meet a City and then they beat you, you are going to drop in momentum and then before you pick up, you would have lost about 3 games in a row. So I think it's a blessing for them to meet the big teams at this stage and then build the momentum for a while. So that's what I think it is. It's more of a blessing than the other way around.
That's fine. So guys, you've heard from both Daniel and myself. We've given our predictions. We've given our reasons for them. Let us know whether you support either one of us or disagree wholeheartedly with both of us. The comment section is available. This is the Brew Show. You can find the Brew Show on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on X. You can find it on Instagram. You can find it on LinkedIn. And of course, he's going to share his social media handles for you.
Well, I'm mostly active on X. My X handle is Darren GH1. Darren DARREN GH1.
That's fine.
All right. See you guys, and I wish you all the best bet investors.
Yes.
And my fellow football fans. It's a great season. Let's enjoy the season, and then at the end of the day, I hope Arsenal wins the league. That's me.
I hope Manchester United wins the league. That's me.